Is it worth investing in an e-commerce platform to grow your SME business? Vicky from the Lankan Crabs and Joanne Lim from 11 Trees will be answering this, moderated by Safura Atan from StratNaViGo.
All right, welcome everybody to our session. I'm Safura Atan from StratNaViGo Consulting PLT, and I'll be moderating today's session. Session is on, is it worth investing on an e-commerce platform to grow your SME business? And with us today, we're so lucky to have two people who are well versed in this, which is Joanne Lim from 11 Trees and Vicky from the Lankan Crabs. So both of them will be sharing an overview of, is it worth investing in e-commerce from a perspective of an expert, a technical expert, and also from a business perspective. So let us start off immediately with Joanne. To the question, is it worth investing in an e-commerce platform to grow SME business?
Hi everyone. The answer is definitely a yes, because I think every SME brand has the opportunity to reach out to the mass audience. So for example, if you're a restaurant owner or a restaurant brand, you can actually have as big as customer audience like your neighborhood big brands that sells fried chicken, burgers and pizzas. Yeah, so I think that is definitely a yes.
Okay, all right. So what do you consider, what are the things that the SME businesses have to take into consideration in deciding what needs to be done to have an e-commerce platform?
First of all, I think to those brand owners that are not familiar with e-commerce, don't be afraid. They should take baby steps in getting on board on the e-commerce platform. That is super easy. I think they can set it up. It's just less than a day. So what I need to advise them is that don't be afraid. Just go on and just on board on the e-commerce platform. Yeah. And it's very affordable. It's really very affordable. It's like less than 200 a month to start off.
Okay. So having said that, it's nothing to fear and it's affordable, but people are afraid of things that they do not know. Okay. So try to allay their fear. What are the things that they can start off with in order to start off with the e-commerce platform?
So for example, for restaurant owners, just make sure that they have their menu ready and the pictures that they have. Even though if you don't have a picture, it's okay. Just put in your food items and the price, and the interface is super easy and super friendly to use. There's nothing technical that you have to be afraid of. You just need to key in the content, the info, and just sign up with a payment gateway. And that's about it. In less than a day, you are ready to go.
All right. So when I hear the word payment gateway, I'm already scared. Can you explain to me a bit about the payment gateway? What does it entail?
For example, the payment gateway that usually people will use is the Stripe account. So they just need to key in their company details, bank account number, and that's it. That's about it. It's just less than, I think, 5 minutes to do the registration. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
Stripe can actually accept all credit cards, major credit cards. Yeah. So, and the repayment back on the payment, from customers is just 7 days.
Okay, sure, great. So the other consideration that I was thinking about was manpower, because typically sometimes the SMEs would say, I don't have time. I'm busy doing stuff at the back office. I don't have time to actually manage it. What about those issues? In this
currently, I have no issues coming from people that have signed up the e-commerce platform. You just need to have a staff that purely focus on handling the e-commerce platform. There's nothing, your staff don't have to be very tech savvy. They just need to click the button to accept the order, then proceed to the next orders. It's very easy. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Joanne. So now going to the business part of it, the business experience. So from Vicky being the Lankan crabs. Wow, crabs, yummy. So looking at the marketing point of you, what allowed you, I know that the story that you started the restaurant 4 days before lockdown. So what allowed you to be successful during these trying times?
Thank you so much. I think that question is quite easily answered because we had opened just 4 days prior to the lockdown, right? We had no choice. We were not part of any aggregator platform, right? So we had to quickly do everything on our own. Even to onboard on any of these platforms would have taken a very long time. So when we reached out to 11 Trees, the initial process was not to quickly get onto an e-commerce platform. It was just as simple as getting consumers to WhatsApp us orders. We started with that, right? And I think another thing that we consciously did was because we are a very new brand, and as any business, whether old or new, we are very cost conscious in terms of the amount of money we are spending. So the advice is to start on a very small audience, probably 1 kilometer or 3 kilometers radius. And again, right, the MCO cost this to us, right? If it was not an MCO environment, we would have gone something even bigger, right? But because it's MCO, we had to go very small. So the money that we spent was also very little. And when the lockdowns slowly started opening up, people could actually drive to our place and do pickup. And it worked because it was a 3 kilometer distance in terms of the advertising, right? So I think in a way, the MCO formed our whole tech behavior of selling. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to be innovative in your approach.
Yeah.
And I would say, know your customer is really important. So the next thing that I like to know, what's your key takeaway, experiencing it? What's your key takeaway from your experience doing business during this MCO and how technology has helped you?
I think like any other entrepreneur or a person running any kind of business, right? It's always down to the return of how much we are spending and also how we are allocating our staff resources, right? I think restaurants face this big challenge of getting enough people to work with us. So every one person that's in the restaurant has to be used to their best of their ability. So I think the key takeaway was that by us doing it small and gradually growing, we could understand what kind of pitfalls that we could avoid later or learn slowly as we moved along, right? That was the biggest thing. We didn't run, we crawled for a long time.
Okay, yeah, your long time is considered quite short.
It is.
But yeah. So I would imagine that you're actually building up from your experience and the information that you acquire from what you have done. So it's a learning process. Am I correct?
Yes, definitely a learning process.
A learning process. So what would be your advice to those who are looking at e-commerce platform to build their business? What would be your advice to them?
Yeah, I think just now, keywords like payment gateway and all this, even with you brought it up, right? I think these are all just words that actually we don't have to focus on, right? As the business owner, like Joanne said, for you to create an account is just a few steps, right? I think if the entrepreneurs stop using these words and just say e-commerce, come in, I'll teach you 1 day to put your products, I'll take you 5 minutes, telling them that it is 5 minutes to set up the payment, it's understood, right? We are very much afraid of what we don't know. We are very much afraid because the environment we are in today is already challenging, right? And we are also very much afraid because our people don't know, right? And I think Joanne did point out two very important things. One was the kind of time that it took us to set up. The other is the cost. So 200 ringgit to set up, to run it on a monthly basis. the first month, and I did tell her, if you don't work after 2 months or 1 month, I'm going to stop. Right? So I think e-commerce platforms need to be a bit more brave to say, yes, if we don't work, stop. Don't tie us to a 12-month contract. Right? There is no need for a 12-month contract if my business is not going to be around. Right? So these are the things that I think we worked well together.
Yeah, the e-commerce platform is actually, if you don't find it work for your business, you can actually stop it.
Yeah. Anytime.
Anytime. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Just before I go to Joanne, just one quick question. I'm always curious about this, especially that you are running a restaurant.
I can't share my recipes, huh?
No, I'm not going to ask you the recipes, and I know you've got the male and the male XXL and the
yes, betul.
Okay, but what I'm curious about is, especially when you have e-commerce and suddenly you become viral, and the challenge of managing between people suddenly splurge of people coming in and the quality of your services. So how do you balance that?
Okay, this is a very important question, and I do not want to sound that like we are very successful. But I think when the first MCO ended, right, in July, every Malaysian ran out to every restaurant. Seriously, right? A lot of restaurants had a huge influx of people. And I think simply because we had used a lot of ad money to run awareness within that whole Bangsa area, right? To that community, we're a new brand. They are used to every other restaurant in Bangsa. So the potential for them to come to our place was a lot higher. So what we did was we stopped our orders. I think it is important. One of the things we learn, very important, Safura, is communication.
Awesome.
Right? You need to explain to people, and people understand. So if you tell them, I need 3 hours to cook, or if you say I'm delivering for lunch and I close my order, we stop our lunch orders at 11 o'clock. And I'll tell you, we can cook for you for dinner, but I will do it at this time. It's just about communicating. People were never angry, right? I think they were also very much looking to help businesses. So nobody is angry. It's just communication. Yeah.
Awesome takeaway. Thank you, Vicky. So Joanne, the last few words from you. What will be your advice or takeaway? One thing that you think is really important for those SME business to take into consideration.
I should advise that all SME brand owners to really consider to onboard all their products and whatever services on an e-commerce platform, simply because all the database, customer database actually belongs to the brand owners. And with that database, which is super important for them to, engage and push brand awareness by using, Google or Facebook ads to keep the customers aware of their products and services, hence giving them a lot of visibility. Okay, so I don't know, brand owners, I think you should see a lot of growth. Sales growth when you're using the e-commerce platform, and also digital advertising is equally important to drive a lot of traffic to their e-commerce website platform. Yeah, they can really start on using this platform in a very small radius, like what Vicky said. We started off 1 kilometer to 3 kilometers, and eventually they will gradually grow the radius bigger. Yeah. So just to make sure that all these retailers and restaurant owners, that they are able to fulfill all the orders. Yeah. Okay, so awesome. my key takeaway is e-commerce is definitely a channel that every SME brand should be in, and to grow exponentially in long-term basis lah. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Joanne. So just to conclude the session, perhaps a few things that really, piqued my interest was that pretty much you got to know your customer. You have to know who you're targeting. Yes. And situations of MCO is actually a good thing because it forces you to innovate using platforms, e-commerce platforms to help you, because the return on investment is actually very good from experience of the Vicky, the Lankan crab. So understand what's the return on investment, the allocation of resources, And the most important thing is communication is key. So when we use e-commerce, the database from the platform will help us make better decisions and take better action. So thank you for really good tips and pointers. So just to highlight to everybody here, do take the opportunity to find out more on the masterclass by 11 Trees on how to use online ads effectively to grow your e-commerce business. I think the information will be available for you to get to know about this masterclass soon. So with that, thank you so much, Vicknezan,
Thank you.
Lankan Crabs, and also Joanne from 11 Trees. I'm
You
Safura from StratNaViGo Consulting. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. I love the conversation in this panel. So it talks about understanding customers and communicating with them, I think, is one important point that we got from here, and which actually echoes, what we've heard in other panels as well. So guys, do take part in our poll and tell us what you thought of the session. And also, let me ask you this important question. Does the name StratNaViGo remind you of a certain Spanish Christmas song? I will leave you to figure that one out. All right? See you in the next session.